I've been driving trucks since I was 25, crisscrossing states with loads of anything from furniture to frozen meat. It's a solitary life, just me and the hum of the engine, but I like it that way. Most nights, anyway. That day, I was hauling wooden furniture clear across California, from one edge of the state to the other. The desert stretched out ahead, a flat, endless nothing under a sky that was already bruising purple by the time I hit the road. I'd started late, some mix-up at the warehouse, so I knew I'd be driving deep into the night. No big deal, I told myself. These roads were straight as a ruler, no traffic to speak of, just the kind of run where I could push the rig a little harder and make up time. My eyes flicked to the dashboard clock. 8 p.m. Hours to go. I cracked the window, let the cool air slap my face, and settled in. But there was this itch in the back of my mind, a quiet little whisper I couldn't shake. The desert's got a way of feeling alive at night. Too quiet, too vast, like it's watching you right back. I brushed it off, turned up the classic rock on the radio, and kept my foot steady on the gas. I'd been rolling for a couple of hours, the road a black ribbon cutting through the sand, when I saw them. 2 red lights flickering up ahead, sharp against the dark. Hazard lights. Some poor bastard stranded out here, I figured. I eased off the gas, letting the truck slow down. It takes a semi a while to stop, so I had time to squint through the windshield. An old Chevy Impala, early 2000s maybe, parked crooked on the shoulder, half on the dirt. Those lights blinked like a distress call, steady and desperate. I pulled up behind it, the rig groaning as it settled and killed the engine. The silence hit me hard. No wind, no bugs, just a heavy stillness that made my ears ring. I sat there for a second, hands still on the wheel, debating. I didn't have to stop, could have kept going, let someone else deal with it. But out here, you don't leave people stranded. It's an unwritten rule. Plus, I'm a sucker for playing the good guy when I get the chance. I grabbed my jacket, stepped out into the cold, and felt the desert air sink into my bones. Something about that car bugged me, though. Too quiet, too still, my gut twisted, but I chalked it up to fatigue. Just check it out, I told myself. 5 minutes, tops. I walked up to the Impala, boots crunching on the gravelly dirt, and tapped on the driver's window. Nothing. No movement. No sound. The tint was dark, so I leaned in close, cupping my hands around my eyes to peer inside. Empty. Not a soul in the front seat or the back. I circled the car, checking every angle. Doors locked, no bags, no sign anyone had been there. Weird, sure, but not unheard of. Maybe they'd walked off for help. I straightened up, scanning the desert around me. Pitch black beyond 20 yards, just sand and scrub swallowed by the night. My breath puffed out in little clouds, and I realized I was holding it, waiting for something to happen. That's when I decided to dig deeper. I jogged back to the truck, grabbed the heavy-duty flashlight from under the passenger seat, the kind that could blind you if you stared at it, and flicked it on. The beam cut through the dark like a knife, and that's when I saw it. An old gas station off the road, maybe 50 feet away. I hadn't noticed it before, probably because it blended into the shadows. No lights, no pavement, just a crumbling shell with 2 rusted pumps out front. My chest tightened. If anyone was around, they'd be there, right? I didn't want to go, but my legs moved anyway, drawn by some dumb need to figure this out. The gas station was a relic, cracked windows, a faded sign I couldn't read, and a door stuck half open like it'd been that way for years. I stepped inside, the flashlight beam bouncing off dusty shelves that must have held snacks or cigarettes once. "Hey, anyone here?" I called out, my voice echoing back too loud, too hollow. No answer. I took another step, the floor creaking under my weight, and swept the light around. Empty, abandoned, just like the car. I was about ready to turn back when I heard it. A scrape, like a shoe dragging across concrete from the far side of the room. My heart jumped into my throat. "I'm here to help," I said, softer this time, trying to keep my voice steady. Then came the whisper, low, rough, like it was scraped out of someone's throat. "Get out!" I froze, the words sinking into me like ice water. My flashlight jerked toward the sound, catching the edge of a shelf, but nothing else. Then breathing, heavy, uneven, coming from a corner I couldn't see. Panic clawed at me, raw and sudden. I didn't think. I bolted, stumbling over the threshold and back into the night, the air hitting my face like a slap. My mind screamed. What the hell was that? Who was that? I didn't know, didn't want to know. I just needed to get out of there. I was halfway to the truck when the Impala roared to life behind me. Headlights flared, tires spat dirt, and it peeled out down the road, vanishing into the dark before I could blink. I stood there, dumbstruck, my flashlight dangling at my side. How? I hadn't seen anyone get in, hadn't heard a damn thing until the engine screamed. My hands shook as I fumbled for my phone and dialed 911. Yeah, I'm on some desert road near an old gas station. I stammered to the operator. There's something weird going on. Car just took off. I heard someone in there. They asked me to stay on the line, but my feet were already moving back toward the station. I had to know what I'd missed. The whole way back, my brain was a mess, replaying that whisper, that breathing, the car speeding off like a ghost. I kept telling myself it was nothing, just some drifter messing around, but my gut wouldn't buy it. I tightened my grip on the flashlight, the phone pressed to my ear, and stepped inside again, slower this time, like I was walking into a trap I couldn't see. The station felt different now, colder, heavier, like the air itself was holding its breath. I swung the flashlight around, past the shelves toward the corner where I'd heard the breathing. That's when I saw it, a pool of blood on the floor, fresh and glistening, red as hell under the beam. My stomach lurched, and I nearly dropped the phone. There's blood here, I choked out to the operator. A lot of it. Fresh. And then I remembered. Right before I'd run out, there'd been a scream, faint and quick, a woman's voice cut off mid-breath. I hadn't registered it until now, but it slammed into me like a freight train. I backed up, my boots slipping on the dusty floor, my mind spinning out of control. What happened here? Was she in the car? Was that guy, whatever he was, still close? I couldn't breathe right, couldn't think straight. The operator's voice buzzed in my ear, asking questions I didn't have answers to. All I could say was, "It's a black Chevy Impala, old model. I heard a man tell me to get out, then a woman scream. That's it. That's all I've got." I staggered back to the truck, legs like jelly, and locked myself inside, waiting for the cops to show up. State troopers rolled in maybe an hour later, their lights painting the desert red and blue. They swarmed the station, took my statement, asked about the car, the blood, the scream. I told them what I could, the Impala, the whisper, the woman I didn't see. They found no body, just that blood, still wet when they got there. They took samples, thanked me, sent me on my way. I drove off, hands white-knuckling the wheel, and finished the delivery in a daze. But I couldn't shake it. That night replayed in my head, every sound, every shadow, like a movie I couldn't turn off. I got a dash cam the next week, bolted it to the windshield like it'd save me from whatever I'd stumbled into. Years later, I still don't know what went down, who she was, who he was, what they did with her. The blood's the worst part. It was so fresh, so real, I can still smell the copper sting of it. I tell myself I got lucky, that I walked away when I did. But some nights, when I'm out on those empty roads, I feel it again. That weight, that whisper, like the desert's still holding on to me. Maybe it always will. I've been a trucker for over a decade, hauling loads across the flattest stretches of America, where the horizon never seems to end. It's a grind. Pick up, verify, deliver, repeat. No hourly pay, just the pressure to keep moving. Efficiency's the name of the game, and I've always prided myself on outworking the young guys snapping up these gigs. 4 years ago, I was running for a warehouse up in North Dakota, where the land's so flat you can see forever, or nothing at all, depending on the time of day. That Tuesday in May, I was bone tired, but the week was just starting, and the loads were piling up. I traced my route into Montana, a straight shot I figured I could knock out in one go. No stops, no sleep, just me and the road. I hit the highway a few hours after lunch, the sun still high but already dipping toward dusk. My eyes stung from the dry air, and my hands gripped the wheel a little tighter than usual. I told myself I'd done this before, pushed through worse. But deep down, I knew I was cutting it close. The clock ticked past midnight, and the world outside turned black. No streetlights, no cars, just my headlights slicing through the void, flanked by endless woods on both sides. I rubbed the crust from my eyes, feeling them burn with every blink. Back when I started, an old buddy showed me a trick. smelling salts. Little crystals in a bottle, one whiff and you're wide awake, like a jolt of lightning up your nose. I kept a stash in the cab, and that night I needed them bad. I popped the cap, took a deep hit, and snapped my head back as the burn hit my sinuses. My heart kicked up a gear, and for a while it worked. I was sharp again, focused. But it didn't last. 30 minutes later, I felt the haze creeping back. My head nodded once, twice, then the truck drifted, tires rumbling over the shoulder. The sound jolted me upright, sweat beating on my forehead. This was dangerous, stupid even, but I couldn't stop. Not yet. I just needed a place to pull off, catch my breath. That's when I started looking harder, desperate for a break in the trees. I slowed the rig down, headlights piercing deeper into the dark. That's when I saw it, a purple dress, small and crumpled, lying smack in the middle of the road. I blinked hard, 6 times maybe, thinking my tired brain was playing tricks. But it was real, glowing under the beams like some kind of omen. I rolled past it slow, staring out the window, my gut twisting a little. "What the hell?" I muttered, voice hoarse from hours of silence. "Probably just trash." I told myself, someone's junk blown out of a pickup. I shook it off, kept driving, but my hands felt clammy on the wheel now. Then, a couple hundred yards later, I saw a pair of kids' sneakers. Tiny, scuffed, sitting there like they'd been dropped mid-step. My chest tightened. 2 weird things in a row? That's not coincidence. I tried to laugh it off, but it came out weak, more like a cough. My mind started spinning, lost luggage, a prank, anything to keep it normal. But I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Way off! A little further up, the road turned into a damn nightmare. More clothes. Kids' stuff again, scattered across the asphalt. A little jacket, some jeans, a sock half torn, all spread out like a trail leading somewhere I didn't want to go. I slammed on the brakes, the rig shuddering to a stop. My breathing got shallow, and I just sat there, staring at the mess through the windshield. This wasn't trash anymore. This was wrong. My old man used to tell me stories about the road, about things you don't mess with, and I could almost hear his voice now, warning me to keep driving. But I couldn't. Not with this. I clutched the cross he'd given me years ago, the one I kept dangling from the rearview mirror. It felt cold against my palm, heavier than usual. Part of me wanted to peel out, leave it all behind, but another part, the dumb, curious part, needed to know. What if some kid was out there, hurt or worse? I couldn't live with that on my conscience. So I cut the engine, grabbed my flashlight, and stepped out into the chill, the air biting at my skin like a warning I didn't heed. The woods were dead quiet as I walked toward the pile, my boots crunching on gravel. The cold sank into my bones, sharp and mean, but it kept me awake, kept me moving. I shone the light on the clothes, little boy and girl stuff, mixed together, some of it stained with dirt like it'd been there a while. I crouched down, picked up a tiny jacket, and my stomach flipped. It wasn't just abandoned, it felt personal, like someone had left it for me to find. I whipped my head around, scanning the trees, but the dark swallowed everything beyond the beam. My pulse hammered in my ears, and I stood up fast, too fast, dizzy from the rush. Then I heard it, a snap, sharp and close, off to my left. I froze, light darting toward the sound, but nothing moved. "Who's there?" I called, my voice cracking into the void. No answer. I waited, counting the seconds, telling myself it was a deer, a raccoon, anything normal. Then another snap, this time from the right. My head spun, panic clawing up my throat. This wasn't random. I was being watched, circled. I bolted for the truck, legs pumping, but just before I reached the door, a scream ripped through the night. A kid's scream, high and desperate, echoing from the woods. I stopped dead, heart slamming against my ribs. That scream, it wasn't just fear, it was pain, the kind that cuts you deep. I couldn't move, couldn't think. What if it was real? What if some kid was out there, bleeding, begging for help? But my gut screamed something else. Run, get out, this ain't right. Another cry rang out, identical to the first, and that's when it clicked. Too perfect, too rehearsed. I climbed into the cab, slammed the door, and cranked the engine. My hands shook as I swung the rig around, headlights blasting into the trees. And there they were. 3 figures, half hidden, one holding a big-ass speaker, the others ducking low. They froze for a second, caught in the light, then scattered like roaches. I sat there, stunned, breath fogging the windshield. A trap, some sick game to lure me out. Before I could process it, a thump hit the side of the truck hard, rocking the whole damn thing. I snapped my head around. Nothing in sight, but then a yell, garbled and furious, cut through the dark. Something smashed into the passenger window, cracking the glass into a spiderweb. I floored it, tires spinning, the rig lurching forward as I peeled out, my voice yelling curses into the empty cab. I drove that last hour in a daze, knuckles white on the wheel, the cracked window letting cold air howl inside. No music, no stops, just the road and my own ragged breathing. My mind wouldn't quit, replaying the scream, the figures, the clothes. Who were they? Thieves? Psychos? Something worse? I kept glancing at the mirror, half expecting headlights to flare up behind me, but the highway stayed empty. When I finally delivered the load, I collapsed in a motel, sleeping 10 hours straight, but even that didn't shake it off. I called the cops later, told them everything, where it happened, what I saw. They said they'd check it out, call me back. Never did. 4 years on, I still don't know what they wanted. Could have rushed me when I was out there, but they didn't. Maybe they just liked the hunt, the fear. I was stupid to leave the truck, damn near fatal. But if I'd ignored that scream and it was real, I'd hate myself forever. Now, every time I roll through woods at night, I hear it again. That cry, sharp and pleading, bouncing around my skull. I don't know if it's memory or madness, but it's there, waiting for me in the dark. And I wonder, next time, will I stop again? You have experienced a different life, a phenomenon that you cannot explain. Why? If so, share your story in the comments section below, because someone out there has also experienced the same thing. Don't be afraid to like the video, subscribe to the channel, because the next story could be even more interesting. Share your story.